the waves. We all gon' die one day. So repent today for salvation's sake. We all gon' die one day. Gotta follow your shine, we gon' lead us to the kingdom. This world is full of lies, and you will never get the best of me now. And if you fall, you can lean on me. I put my trust in the Most High, He never let me roll. Me and your way, gotta seek out your salvation. One day you gon' die, you gotta pick. I took a chance and I didn't miss. Follow your only in the script. Salvation comes to all, you gotta believe. Keep the commandments, put down the weed. I was once like you, I didn't believe. I made a change, put the faith with the works, and now I'm free. Faith without works is dead. I wanted to find the Most High, religion is dead. I linked up with my ox and he gave me the truth. I'm trying to inspire the world, inspire the youth. We all gon' die one day. So repent today for salvation's sake. We all gon' die one day. Gotta follow your shine, He gon' lead us to the kingdom. This world is full of lies, and you will never get the best of me now. And if you fall, you can lean on me. I put my trust in the Most High, He never let me roll. Me and your way, gotta seek out your salvation. Seek out your salvation. You know these demons and devils, they win. But you to slip and fall, that was the back of the wall. Baby, I had to crawl, but I know for keeping it low. We all gotta die one day. You keep it simple, so go to church on Sunday. You never really know where your spirit gonna go. So you gotta be prepared, can't be out here, living scared. Cause the law gon' give you that wisdom. I'm not all the way fair. Pick up a Bible, open your ears, open your eyes, run from the lies. Cause these people lie to you, and I swear that we all so repent today for salvation's sake. We all gon' die one day. Gotta follow your shine, He gon' lead us to the kingdom. This world is full of lies, and you will never get the best of me now. And if you fall, you can lay on me. I put my trust in the Most High, He never let me roll. Me and you alone, gotta seek out your salvation. Shalom, Facebook fam. Shalom, small people out of YouTube. I'd like to welcome each and every one of you to another episode of Transformation Tuesdays. Tonight, we'd like to give all praise to Ahaya Bahashem Yeshaya and the precious Ruach. And for those of you not familiar with the Hebrew, that is all praise unto the Most High, the word of Jesus, as well as the Holy, in the name of Jesus, as well as the Holy Spirit. Once again, we'd like to welcome each and every one of you to another episode of Transformation Tuesday, where we're striving to transform into the image of the greatest Israelite who ever lived, Yeshua HaMashiach, who the world know to be Jesus the Christ. We pray and hope that all is well with you and your families. We pray and hope that you guys come on tonight in the spirit of love and with a heart, open heart, and a willingness to study and seek the Most High for His truth on tonight. For those that may be joining us for the first time, this is our weekly Q&A Bible study. Shalom, Art Goodson with us tonight, where we allow people to come in and ask questions concerning their particular journey with the Most High. What we always ask is that you don't ask any question about someone else's belief, particular pastor, elder, or some other camp or church's belief, but you limit those questions strictly to your own journey, your own desire, and your own life concerning the Most High. Okay? Now, we have a lot of announcements that we're going to make, so let's go ahead and dive into those. Each Tuesday night, we spend an opportunity to promote the businesses of Jacob, as well as to give those at Better Day, as well as our extended Better Day family across this country, an opportunity to sow into the ministry. First up tonight is a patent creation called Bed Bunny by LaDon Atkinson. Bed Bunny is it enables women to sleep without having to wear a bunny on their head at night. Now, gentlemen, some of you guys have a problem with your wives, sleeping in the bonnets and stuff. You think that it's not necessarily attractive or whatever. So this is something that you want to jump dead on. It enables a woman to sleep without having to wear a bunny on their head at night. It maintains moisture um, in both your hair and your skin. It lessens the formation of wrinkles. How it works, it fits on the top portion of your bed, then slide your pillows underneath and you're protected all night. Sleep free with Bed Bunny. That is sleep free with Bed Bunny. Now, so we have the website in there that you guys can go and check that out. And it's a wonderful, like I said, patent invention by LaDon Atkinson. So this is something, ladies, that you can buy for yourself, or men that you would love to you would get for your wives, your daughters, your sisters. You know what I'm saying? To help them along their hair journeys. Now we also have my sister Lashonda Atkinson with her massage therapy business. It is called, what is it? Massage Opulence, and we put the link into her scheduling in there this month throughout the whole month of August. Guess what? If you mention a Better Day Ministries, you will get discounts on your first package throughout the whole entire month of, of August. So listen, man, it's a great gift for you and your wife to do a couples massage. It's a great birthday gift. It's a great anniversary gift. It's just a great gift for someone in your family that you know that are working hard and have some issues with their back or things like that. My brother, my aunt has some problems. Sue, how's things going since you went there?
Great.
You know what I'm saying? This lady, Shonda Atkinson, my sister, listen, this is her ministry. You know, since not only her business, but it's her ministry. And she has the God-given ability, you understand, to minister to people, their pains, their joints, all of those things. And I'm telling you, it's like once you go, you're a lifetime client going forward. You understand? And so make sure you check out Massage Opulence. You understand? And it's truly been a blessing. Also, we got my little daughter in Hamashiach, Talia McCrimney. If you're looking for T-shirts, if you're looking for business cards, if you're looking for event decorations, if you're looking for all types of, I'm talking about a variety of services, check out her Etsy page. It is in the link. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling this little young lady is very multi-talented. She has all types of gifts at very affordable prices. You understand? Young, just got out of college, just graduated, and she has hit the ground running with her own different levels of entrepreneurship. So let's try to check her out. I'm telling you, whatever type of services you need, she offers it. As well as her mother, Tawana Cox, who has Etsy page dealing with skincare, dealing with hair products, also dealing with scented candles and all kind of things of that nature. You want to make sure if you're looking for those type of products to check her out as well. My Dennis Ingram, who has a long hair and pressure washing business called Royal Kings. Pressure Kings Slovakia, does homes, driveways, landscaping, and window cleaning. And his number is 910-434-3740. Once again, that is Pressure Kings, where your business is royalty. And his number is 910-434-3740. If you need your home, your driveway, you need that pressure wash, if you need your area landscaped, you know what I'm saying, window cleaning, your businesses, check him out, man. He does a wonderful, wonderful job. He works really hard, and his prices are very reasonable. Shalom, Ms. Turner, Shalom, Mama V, Shalom to everyone coming on. Thank you for joining us tonight. Let's see. Lisa Y. Right now, with all the different things that's got going on, and if you guys are looking for a mask with fashion or just a regular mask, check out Lisa Y. I'm saying she is clothing Israel with protection and all those different things. If that's what you're looking for through the mask or whatever the case may be, so check her out, man. I mean, she got great deals going on. Tell them Better Day Ministry, and she will check you out. Also, if you're looking to put, to put fringes and ZZs on the clothing, man, check her out. She only charges $10 shirt,
and she'll get you right. She has definitely been helped clothe the Better Day Ministries and looking. So I'm telling you, man, anything you need, make sure you check her out. Her daughter as well has a photography business. So if you're looking for some couples pictures, if you're looking for, you understand, some family pictures, you have an event that you need, you want, memorialize, whatever the case may be, check Alexis out. The website is in here as well. She does a wonderful, wonderful job of capturing those moments, man. Shalom, good seeing you on with a night. Shalom, gracious. And Shalom, Myron, good seeing you on with us tonight. You understand? So please make sure you check out all of Israel different businesses. It's a truly beautiful thing. Also, every Thursday night, my aunt, my brother from another mother, Pastor Ken Schools of Restoration Center, Charlotte, has a men's barbershop talk every Thursday night. Make sure you check it out. We can put the link in there. It's just a wonderful opportunity for men to come on, iron and sharpen iron. It's not no Bible study, nothing like that. But of course, because you got Israelites out there, the Bible's going to come out. But we are on there just discussing things, planning things, holding each other accountable, empowering, inspiring each other. It's a wonderful thing. It's truly been a blessing to all the men that come along. So make sure if you have anything, ladies, if you have some young sons, if you have your husband or something, suggest it to them. It's a beautiful thing. And we enjoy it every Thursday night at 8:30. Some of you may notice that my Bruce swag has been turned up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Got the bracelet on tonight, got the piece with the high on it right here. You know what I'm saying? Well, that my op, Moray Derek Seiler. You know what I'm saying? Moray Derek Seiler of Kingdom Jewelry down in Atlanta, Georgia. The brother, you know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, he's been turning Israel's swag up for some time now. A lot of the ox is reaching out to him, get some custom made jewelry. I'm telling you, man, it's crazy. It just came in the mail today. Got the piece with the code in there, got the higher, you know what I'm saying, on there, Most High name, you know what I'm saying, the bracelet, hooked your boy up, you know what I'm saying, turned the Hebrew swag up. So make sure you check him out if you're looking for some neckwear, some bracelets, all types of things, man. I'm telling you, he's really, really good at what he does, and he custom makes everything. There ain't no cheap thing here. He's taking his time to make sure everything is perfect, and he's going to ship it right out to you. I'm telling you, man, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So make sure if you're in the in shopping in the look for some jewelry, we put the link in there through his page, and you will be able to go on there and find access to his jewelry page as well. All right, last but not least, here at Better Day, because we don't do offerings or anything on the Shabbat, we use Tuesday night as an opportunity for Better Day ministers to do their tithing and their offerings, as well as our extended family across the country. And right now, we have temporarily shut down those who sow into me and Deacon, because we're in the process of moving to a new venue, and we're trying to funnel all of the resources that are coming in into the ministry in particular. Right now, for lack of a better word, there was a miscommunication, just to put it out there like that, as far as the venue being moved in, ready. So Better Day, this is not to you because you guys have been given or whatever the case would be. Pete, also I need you to get that link for the Feast of Trumpets. Get that page right quick. But we're extending this opportunity out to our extended family across the nation. We need about another $450 to $500 to get this place move in ready. So we're asking about 10 people to sow $50 into us, or 20 to sow 25, or whatever the case may be. And if you are part of that, when you do the cash out, please, and listen, I hate to even use this word, but we want to make sure that we know what these funds are coming in for. So for my extended Better Day family, or if some Better Day right now they're watching who want to sow into this, in the subject matter, could you put building fund? And I promise you, it is actually going to the building. I promise you. It's not just saying this time. Seriously, literally, this is the building fund. We're gonna we're going to take the money and do some some repairs and some cleaning up. We got to clean the carpet. It's a lot of different things that we got to do. So I promise you, this is literally a building fund that we're trying to raise here. We need about $450 to $500 so that we can move in the 1st of September. Because we want, right now we're in this little spot, just like they said on Belly. You know what I'm saying? It's a messed up spot, but South spot. We rocking with it, but we about to take this ministry to another level around here, and we want to give our people a decent place in order to worship. You understand? Shalom, our good senior with us tonight. We want to give them a respectable place. We are the children of Israel, and we have to make sure things are presented to the community in a proper manner. You understand? If it was just us three, we wouldn't even care. You can give us whatever. We're going to get in and bring these precepts out. But we got children, we got families that we're going to, you understand, be reaching to. Dame said, I believe you are more than I did them deacons when I was a child. I promise you, man. I promise you, my hand to the Most High, man. This is really what we're trying to raise right now. Literally is the building fund. I promise you. And we're everybody want to see current pictures of it right now. We keep things transparent here. We have the pictures. I shared them with the church today. So they know, the current status of the place. And if anybody who wants to see them, we don't mind doing that. We're transparent. But like I said, we want to get 10 people to sow 50, 25 to sow, Slocky 20 to sow 25. We need this in the next couple of weeks so we can get things ready and move in, do our first Q&A there on Tuesday night, September the 1st. So the Better Day has been a blessing to you. We really appreciate that. And Better Day, thank you for all you're doing. Lastly, but not least, September the 5th, we do have our Feast of Trumpets that we're going to be partnering with host Pastor Ken and Pastor Ron, the schools. We'll be hosting up in Charlotte at 131 Stetson Drive. 131 Stetson Drive. We know the feast day is actually September 5th, sundown to September 6th, sundown. But because we want to be able to fellowship with the different families and all the things that are going on, we're going to do it on that September 5th, but we're going to be starting at 10:30 that morning. So we're going to be partnering with the three congregations, Pastor Ken and Pastor Ron, the schools from Restoration Center Charlotte, Pastor Jody and Pastor Carla Turner from Judah Hebraic Faith up in Statesville, and the Better Day Ministries. So we are really excited about this opportunity to come together. For those who would like to attend, Shalom to one of the good senior with us tonight. Please RSP with us by August 28th. And we really love you to do it a whole lot earlier than that, but that is the deadline, August the 28th. All right. So that's all the announcements. I tell you, man, we got to get this old lady or something to start passing out stuff. We're spending 20 minutes on announcements, but it's all good. Let's dive into it. So tonight we got a lot of good questions that's been submitted, but for those who are watching with us, we would love for you guys to submit some questions live, and we will answer those questions in the order in which they came. Tonight's foundation scripture is going to come from Romans, the 12th chapter, and Isaiah, the 1st chapter. Romans 12, need you to hold that and get Isaiah, the 1st chapter. Romans 12, so let's start there at verse 1.
I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God,
by the mercy of the Most High,
that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. Our reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world. Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God.
The way we are able to prove to the world that we are with the Most High is not looking like the world, not acting like the world, not living like the world, talking like the world. not raising our children like the world, not having our marriages like the world, but being completely opposite of the world. You understand? So we have to understand that that's our responsibility so that we can be that light on a hill. We can be this light in a very dark world. So let's show you how we're going to do that. Let's go to Isaiah 1. Let's go to Isaiah 1. Now, this chapter talks about the fact that Israel, a donkey knows his master. You know what I'm saying? And the ox know who his owner is, but Israel don't know. And that because they don't know their oblations, their praise, their holy days, their feasts have got off. But we're not going to go into all that. I'm just going to show you how we're going to be renewing our mind. Let's go down to verse 16.
Wash you, make you clean.
Make you clean.
Put away the evil of your doings from before my eyes.
Right.
Cease to do evil.
Cease to do evil. Go ahead.
Learn to do well.
Learn to do well. This is what transformation is about. It's to learn to do well. We have to get out of the ways we thought we were doing, but we have to learn to do well. Go ahead.
Seek judgment. Relieve the oppressed. Judge the fatherless. Plead for the widow.
This is the true faith. Just believing that you're an Israelite and knowing that you're an Israelite, and keeping our statutes and commandments is good, but that change and that transformation must also overflow into you doing some type of service and in your community. Go ahead.
Come now and let us reason together, said the Lord. Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool. If you be willing and obedient.
If you be willing and obedient, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead.
You shall eat the good of the land.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I don't care if it's a coronavirus. I don't care if the jobs are gone. I don't care what the situation economically stands in this country, Israel. If you be willing and obedient to do what thus says the Most High is willing to do it and obedient to what he say, he will do what?
You shall eat the good of the land.
But
if you refuse and rebel,
if you refuse and rebel,
ye shall be devoured with the sword. For the mouth of the Lord has spoken.
Nah, that's just what Levant be talking about.
For the mouth of the Lord has spoken.
Nah, that's just the Israelite doctrine.
For the mouth of the Lord has spoken
because
it.
The Most High has spoken. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is how you be transformed, by going through those stages. Shalom, Ati, good seeing you on with us tonight. Now, as I said, for those who are on with us, if you have a question, you can ask that question, and we will answer them in the order in which it came. We're going to dive into the first question. The first question was dealing with last Shabbat when we was talking about Esau in the Hebrews, the 12th chapter, about him selling his birthright. We went up to Genesis, was talking about as well. And so someone hit me up and said, well, I ain't never heard about this extended story in Jasher. Could you bring that out today? And so that's what we're going to do. So I know some of you may not have this book of Jasher. What I would suggest, this is a book that I would suggest you guys get. This book right here. Notice mine has been beat up. I know I'm going to get a whooping for not having a cover on it, but please forgive me. It's called the Complete Apocrypha, right? See how that look? See that right there? Now, in this book right here, it has the Apocrypha in it, it has the Book of Jubilees in it, and it has the Book of Jasher in all one book. Oh, got this for me for Bren. You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't got that connect for somebody blessing you like that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So the Ark got me that for Bren this year and last year, whatever. And so this turned my swag up significantly. But it has the Book of Jasher in it. But like I said, you know, I still got this old book. I know this is going to get me in trouble for showing it, but, you know, it's falling apart, Jasher. You know what I'm saying? But I do got the Sefer brand new. But on Tuesday nights, I thug it. You know what I'm saying? On Tuesday nights, I thug it. With coming raw on Tuesday nights. You feel me? So, but yeah, let's go to Book of Jasher, chapter 27. Okay. And let me show them that story, so in Genesis first. And then we're going to end off over in Hebrews 12. So let's get the story out of Genesis first. Matter of fact, let me get, for my Christian brothers and sisters, for those who have never heard of this book, let me get the scriptures to prove Jasher first, just in case someone may not know. Okay, and yeah, it's Joshua and Samuel. I got them in my notes. So we like to do that. We like to do those things first. That way, we don't come off as a barbarian and trying to make it seem as if we're adding, putting things in there that is not, the Bible does not approve of. Okay, so let's get Joshua 10 and 13. I know I'll just make sure I give it to them. We got Joshua 10 and 13 and 2 Samuel 1 and 18. Okay, these are Bible scriptures. We're going to go over those first, which confirms that the Israelites and our ancestors read from the book of Jasher. The book of Jasher, ladies and gentlemen, is a testament that was given. It's basically it's like a diary of all of the patriarchs from Noah all the way up through our people when we came out of Egypt. Okay, so it's like Genesis, basically, ladies and gentlemen, like Cliff Notes, and Jasher tells the full story of everything that happened. So we're gonna show you that today. But we're gonna prove that Jasher is a acceptable book with the Bible. So that's Joshua 10, verse 13, and 2 Samuel 1 and 18. Let's bring that out.
And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed,
right,
until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Jasher?
Is not this written in the book of Jasher? So right here, Joshua was referencing the book of Jasher, but the Bible says, with 2 or 3 witnesses, let every word be established. So let's get another one. Verse 2 Samuel 1 and 18. Bring it out.
Also, he bade them teach the children of Judah the use of the bow. Behold, it is written in the book of Jasher.
What?
It is written in the book of Jasher.
It is written in the book of Jasher. So you have Joshua as well as the prophet Samuel. You know what I'm saying? Verify that our ancestors were reading from the book of Jasher. So I wanted to make sure you had those verses, so that way, if someone tell you, well, man, I ain't never heard the book of Jasher, that has nothing to do with God, they don't have nothing to do with the Bible, well, then now you got the references to show you that our ancestors referenced the book of Jasher. All right? Now, let's go to Genesis 27, and I want to get you the story out of the Bible in which we're about to reference here. Slakia, Genesis 25, Slakia. So everybody's pretty much certain that they've been in church for a little bit of time in their life. You've heard about the story of Esau selling his birthright. So we're going to give you the biblical account in Jasher, and then we're going to go and give you the full extended story in Jasher. Then we're going to go to Hebrews 10 and explain the significance of this and what this is all talking about for us today. Genesis 25, and go down to verse 27.
And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents.
Right.
And Isaac loved Esau, because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. And Jacob sowed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with the same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore his name called Edom.
His name was called Edom. If we know the so-called white man, which is Esau, first of all, he's red. He ain't white. That's why you hear us called the so-called white man, right? Now, also, you notice that even to this day, when they eat their food, they like it raw. Do they not? They never cook the blood out of it till this day. Okay? Them guys will go hunting, be in the woods, shoot a deer, cut them open, and eat it right there till this day. Okay? So this is an attribute of Esau. This is how he get down. Not saying it's a malicious thing, this is how he gets down. So right here, hey, he told Jacob, look, I don't even worry about you cooking it. Right now, let me get that. He's a cunning hunter. Okay? So look at verse 31. It says what?
And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do to me?
So he said, listen, I'm about to die. I don't care nothing about no birthright. I'm going to sell everything I got for this one meal. You're going to see the significance of that when we get to Hebrews 12. Go ahead.
And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he swore unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and he rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright.
So, oftentimes in the Christian church, when they go into Genesis 27, when they talk about what Jacob did to get the birthright, oftentimes you'll hear them like, Jacob traded him and he's a supplanter and all that. But we see right here that it says that Esau despised his birthright, meaning that he didn't even appreciate the fact of being the firstborn and what came along with that. So that's one thing people don't like to bring out. We know deeper why they don't. That's another lesson for another time. But let's go into Joshua 27, so you get the full story of what actually happened and why he was so faint and was willing to sell everything he had and give up everything he had for about some food. Let's go to Joshua 27. Let's start at verse 1. Watch this.
And Esau at that time, after the death of Abraham, frequently went into the field to hunt. And Nimrod, king of Babel, the same was Emperor Raphael.
That's his name.
Also frequently went his mighty men to hunt in the field and to walk about with his men in the cool of the day. And Nimrod was observing Esau all the days, for jealousy was formed in the heart of Nimrod against Esau all the days.
So Nimrod, even though Nimrod was always known as a mighty man, but when Esau came on the scene, people started they started giving Esau his props. Like Esau was a dude. He was that dude. When he come down to hunting and being out there in the woods, Esau, he was gifted at that. Nimrod had a problem with that. Now, Nimrod is not an Israelite. He's a Hamite. Just wanted to put that out there. He would be what your modern Northern African guys who are today. Okay? I just wanted to put that out there. But he also sold his soul and he went to some other things. Another lesson for another time. Right? Now, verse 4.
And on a certain day, Esau went into the field to hunt, and he found Nimrod walking in the wilderness with his two men. And all his mighty men and his people were with him in the wilderness, but they were moved at a distance from him, and they went from him in the different directions to hunt. And Esau concealed himself from Nimrod, and he lurked for him in the wilderness.
So now, he know that Nimrod was going to try to kill him. So he's like, listen, this dude out here hunting me, listen, he don't see me, I'm going to get him. Crafty counsel. Esau been doing this. He's no different than he is today. This is his father, their father right here. That's what he does. Watch this. Verse 6.
And Nimrod and his men that were with him did not know him, and Nimrod and his men frequently walked about in the field at the cool of the day,
right,
and to know where his men were hunting in the field.
So they had no idea that they was getting hunted. Sounds familiar? Right? Sounds familiar? Watch this. Verse 7.
And Nimrod and two of his men that were with him came to the place where they were. When Esau started suddenly from his lurking place and drew his sword and hastened and ran to Nimrod and cut off his head.
Cut his head off. He thought it was good. He thought he was just walking on a regular day, and Esau just popped out. Wow! This is Nimrod. Nimrod was running the whole world. He was a mighty man. Esau crept up on him, cut his head off. Watch this. Watch this. Verse 8.
And Esau fought a desperate fight with the two men that were with Nimrod. And when they called out to him, Esau turned to them and smote them to death with his sword.
Esau ain't playing, man. He's a mighty hunter. So I get down. Watch this. Verse 9.
And all the mighty men of Nimrod who had left him to go to the wilderness heard the cry at the distance, and they knew the voices of the two men, and they ran to know the cause of it. When they found their king and the two men that were with him lying dead in the wilderness, And when Esau saw the mighty men of Nimrod coming at a distance, he fled and thereby escaped. And Esau took the valuable garments of Nimrod, which Nimrod's father had bequeathed to Nimrod, and with which Nimrod prevailed over the whole land. And he had ran and concealed them in his house.
So there were some certain things that Nimrod had got from the gods that he was using to have power over the people. This is when Esau began to say, what the Most High has for me, I no longer need. Okay? See, they don't bring this out in Genesis. He took those valuable things. What you see, D? What you see? Yeah, but it's deep though, right? Right? Right here is when this bait and switch happened. See that? Watch this, go ahead.
And Esau took those garments and ran into the city on account of Nimrod's men. And he came into his father's house weary and exhausted from fight. And he was ready to die through grief when he approached his brother Jacob and sat before him.
So now you see, this is where you see it in Genesis 25. Now he comes there. He know he got the whole city looking after him. He's like, yo, man, I'm about to die. I just killed Nimrod. They ain't gonna let this ride. He said, I'm ready to die. And then he came to Jacob. Watch this.
And he said unto his brother Jacob, behold, I shall die this day. Behold, I shall die this day. And wherefore then do I want the birthright?
You see that? It was his own ideal. He didn't care about the birthright no more. He didn't need the blessing because he's going to die. But for the sake if he lived, got plan B. Y'all see that? Look at this. Go ahead.
And Jacob acted wisely with Esau.
Jacob did what?
He acted wisely.
Jacob did what?
He acted wisely.
See, in the Christian church, they present Jacob like he was a trickster. Like he conned and hustled him out of it. No, no, no. But of course Esau, through his religion of Christianity, would say that. Of course he would. But Jacob did what? Read it again.
And Jacob acted wisely with Esau in this matter. And Esau sold his birthright to Jacob, for it was so brought out about by the Lord.
It was so brought about by the Lord because you go back into Genesis 25. The Most High told Rebekah, hey, I'm giving the birthright and to Jacob. Hold your place there. For your other biblical precept to prove that, go to Romans 9. Paul talks about the same exact thing. Right? Go to Romans 9, because I want to make sure you guys know all of these things. When you get into conversation with other people who are not aware of this, you can be able to explain this thing in detail. Watch this. Go Romans 9 and go down to verse 13.
As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated.
So, a lot of Israelites will go here and they use this to talk down about the white man, but they don't understand what this means. When he says Jacob I've loved, but Esau have I hated, it was simply the fact that Jacob appreciated what the Most High gave him. Esau did not, because he didn't care about the birthright. Go your place there. Give me Proverbs 8 and 18. Watch this. So this is how you get a true understanding of what this verse means. Proverbs 8 and 17, Slocky. Watch this.
I love them that love me.
He said what?
I love them that love me.
I love them that love me. Esau didn't care nothing about his birthright. He cared nothing about the relationship with the Most High. So Esau said, Most High said, that's how you feel about me. No problem. Little man. The feel is mutual. Read the rest of that. So he said what?
I love them that love me, and those that seek me early shall find me.
You see that? Now go back to Romans 9. Read that verse 13 again.
As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau I have hated.
Now, go down to verse, for a second time. Go down to verse. No, Slocky, we need to go back up. Go back to verse 8. Slocky, verse 7.
Neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called.
So now, you have a lot of people, especially in the teachers of Christianity will say, when they go to Galatians 3, they'll say, you know, everybody's Abraham's seed, so heirs of Christ, so this is talk about everybody. No, that's not what that's talking about. And we'll break Galatians 3 down another day. We broke that down several times, but that's not what it's talking about. Paul wrote Galatians and Romans, by the way. Okay, so there's no way he's going to say this over here and then say something different in Galatians. Read that again, though. He says what?
Neither because they are the seed of Abraham.
Matter of fact, so they can get the full understanding. Start at verse 6 so they can get that full understanding.
Not as though the word of God have taken none effect.
Right.
For they are not all Israel, which are of Israel.
They're not all Israel, which are of Israel, because what Paul was talking about was those Edomites that were Pharisees, Herod them that was ruling in Israel. Those guys are not Israelites. They were calling themselves Jews, but they were not. That's what Paul was talking about. Everybody that's walking around with fringes on, talking about the Torah, that doesn't make them Israel. And Paul was breaking this down here. Verse 7.
Neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called.
You see that? And that's what Yeshua was talking about over in John 8, when he said that when they was in there talking about, yo, man, Abraham is our father. We've never been into captivity. The reason why they were saying that, ladies and gentlemen, because they wasn't Israelites. No Israelite would have ever told Yeshua they had never been into captivity. Because all of them, Judea was in captivity at that time. So no Israelite would have never answered Hamashiach and said, we've never been into captivity. These were Edomites. And he told them, you are your father, the devil. And then he told them again over Revelation 2, 3, and 9. You're from the synagogue of Satan. You're not a Jew. That's why they hate Christ. Because he came straight with it. You're not hiding behind this with me. I know who you are. Paul is addressing the same thing here. And he tells them here in verse 7, he says, what?
Neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called. That is, they which are the children of flesh, these are not the children of God.
These are not the children of Yah. Go ahead.
But the children of the promise are counted for the seed.
Right.
For this is the word of promise.
Right.
At this time will I come, and Sarah shall have a son.
That's Isaac.
And not only this, but when Rebekah also have conceived by one, even by our father Isaac, for the children being not yet born, neither have done any good or evil.
Any good or evil, go ahead.
That the purpose of God according to the election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth.
See that? So they're trying to explain all, but like, man, yo, Jacob tricked him and pulled a fast one. Nah, that's not what happened. The Most High said who was chosen. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Go ahead. Verse 20.
It was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger.
Esau was the elder. And he said, serve the younger. Jacob, go ahead.
As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated.
See that? That's what that's talking about. Esau gave her that birthright because he couldn't stand it. And he said, if I survive this, I got a side deal. Now, if you keep reading in Genesis 20 and in Genesis 27 going into 28, you see when he started marrying the daughters of Canaan and went off after he got the peace from Nimrod. See that? So that's the stuff they don't be wanting to bring out. So, yeah. So that's how you deal with Esau. That's how you deal with it, bro. You made that deal on your own. Don't put it off on us. You chose your side. We chose the Most High. We had that wisely. You don't want it, fam? Okay. Now, so That's the story of Esau selling his birthright. We wanted to make sure that was brought out. We went a little deeper into it, but it's all good. All good. Now, for those who are joining us, if you have a question live, please put that question in and we will answer it in the order in which it came. Let's go to the next question that's been submitted. All right. Oh my God. Oh, I thought I had deleted the questions. I'm about to weep bitterly. All right, next question. Does Hebrews 8 and 11 confirm that we don't need a pastor or an elder to have a relationship with Yah? The Hebrews 8 and 11 confirm that we don't need a pastor or an elder to have a relationship with Yah. And ladies and gentlemen, for those who don't know what Yah means, is Hebrew for God. Okay, it's just God of power, right? That's when you hear us say the Most High Yah, we're talking about the Most High God. Okay, so let's go to Philippians 2. I need you to hold that and get Ephesians 4. First, no, Slocky. First, go to Hebrews 8 and 11. Let's read that. Let's read that first. Give them a reader, Hebrews 8 and 11.
And they shall not teach every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for all shall know me, from the least to the greatest.
So this is talking about the coming of the Holy Spirit. So a lot of people who don't want to go to church and don't want to submit to the elder, they will use this verse as against them saying, well, the Bible says we don't need it because no man will have to teach it anymore. And that's not what he was talking about. Okay. Prior to the coming of the Holy Spirit, a person had to rely strictly on the prophets to hear from the Most High. Now, because we have the Holy Spirit, Hebrews 4:16 says, and Yeshua has paid the sin bill for us, for Israel. Hebrews 4:16 said that we can come boldly to the throne of grace, that we may find mercy and grace in the time of need. So now we have access to the Most High. This is why when Yeshua gave up the ghost in Luke the 23rd chapter, you see that the curtain in the temple rent, which was the holiness. It went from access denied to access granted. Okay, but that doesn't mean that pastors and elders were no more of a necessity for your development with a relationship with the Most High. Now, there's one aspect of it that we have to work out. So let's get Philippians 2 and 12. But before we get there, let me say this. A lot of our brothers and sisters right now who are at this place of saying that we don't need a pastor or elder, I can do this by myself at home. I'm not saying this is the case for all of you, but a majority of you that are asking these questions or taking this stand are people who are dealing with church hurt. Whether you was hurt in the Christian church or you was hurt in a congregation, Israelite or Hebraic congregation. And I'm sorry that happened to you. I am. I know there's plenty of guys out here that are lying and misleading the people, taking advantage of the people, abusing the people psychologically, emotionally, and financially. I know a lot of you don't went through that. And like I said, I'm sorry that happened to you. But that's not the case for everyone. And so you got to look at it in the same manner of jobs. You was on a job, and the job, a boss didn't appreciate you and took advantage of you, didn't pay you justly for what you brought to the table. Did you quit working? I'm sure some of you've been in relationships where a person didn't appreciate you in the manner that they should. Did you completely go celibate and said, I'm not ever talking to another man or woman? So in the same manner, when we had those hurtful relationships and things happen, we cannot allow ourselves to be cut off from what the Most High set up in order for us, you understand, to be able to grow. You understand? So, but there is one aspect that I think a lot of people don't realize, that you do need to have your own relationship with the Most High. So I do want to bring that out. Give me Philippians 2 and 12.
Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but no much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling.
So I do want to bring out committed to the Most High, committed to the work on the Sabbath. And for those who are still in the Christian church on the Sunday, all in. But the other days of the week, not so much. You're not supposed to be about that life because an elder is there. You shouldn't fear of answering to an elder or a pastor. You should fear answering to the Most High. And if anybody you're involved in a church or a congregation, you understand, and they are putting this level of fear in you, then you're in the wrong place. Because any elder or pastor who loves you will always direct all of your energy and devotion and commitment back to Yeshua and the Most High. They will never take this devotion. They will always point you in the direction of the person that they follow. You understand? So don't worry about working out everything and being pleasing and acceptable by man. Make sure that when you stand before the Most High, that you got all your T's crossed and your I's dotted. You understand? But give me Ephesians 4. And give me Sirach 6. Give me Sirach 6. Let's go to Ephesians 4 first. Let's see. This is over in the New Covenant. And Paul addresses having people in place to bless the church. Ephesians 4. And let's start there at verse 11.
And he gave some apostles, some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors and teachers for the perfecting of the saints.
So these people, this fivefold ministry, was given by the Most High to do what?
For the perfecting of the saints,
for the maturity of the saints,
for the work of the ministry,
to bring forth the work of the ministry in the community,
for the edifying of the body of Christ.
Edify and encouraging and empowering the body. Evidently, if the Most High gave this, it was needed. And how long are we going to need this? Verse 13?
Till we all come in the unity of faith.
And if you look around here right now, we're not in the unity of faith. That means we still need it. Go ahead.
And of the knowledge of the Son of God.
And I'm telling you right now, you got people out here telling people they ain't got to be baptized. You got Israelites talking about they Torah only, don't even believe in the Messiah. You got people out here teaching that they ain't got to keep the law. You got Christians out there believing that Jesus is God. Okay, you got all kinds of things going on out here. So that means that we have not come to the knowledge of the Son of Yah. Go ahead.
Until a perfect man.
There is no perfect man.
Until the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ.
We have definitely all fall from that. Go ahead.
That we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro, and carried about with every wind of doctrine.
And right now, ladies and gentlemen, every other day, I got to deal with people who are going on YouTube watching different videos, and I got to come back and explain to them when I'm telling them, stop watching the videos. Find one elder and sit down and learn. Toss to and fro. Get involved with one congregation. Learn. But because people are not submitted to elders and not submitted to a congregation, they're constantly being tossed to and fro. They come up with everything in their own mind. Matter of fact, hold that. Give me, we're going to Sirach 6, but give me that one verse, Sirach 6 and 2.
Extol not thyself in the counsel of thy own heart.
Sirach said, extol not thyself in the counsel of thy own heart. People sitting at the crib, figuring out themselves, coming up with these own ideologies on themselves, and what in the end, what is going to end up being?
That thy soul be not torn in pieces as a bull straying alone.
Straying alone. Because I'm telling you, once it gets real, ladies and gentlemen, which you think it's real now, you ain't seen nothing yet. This time next year, you're going to be begging for a congregation. You're going to be begging for friends and elders. But because people don't want to submit, you don't want to humble yourselves, you're sitting around out here trying to come up with these own things in your mind. You have no true understanding. You have no true insight of what's going on. And all this stuff is so much pressure on you that you're just coming up with anything. And then by next week, you're on something else. So read that. Why do we need these apostles, prophets, teachers, evangelists? Why do we need this? Verse 14, back in Ephesians 4.
And we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro,
right,
and carried about with every wind of doctrine, by the sleight of men, and cunning craftiness.
By what?
By cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive.
Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, there's a lot of Israelites out here who are constantly teaching you stuff like tomorrow. You don't need no elder. You don't need no man to teach you. But if that's the case, why are they making videos? I'm really shocked by that, Sue. You're constantly saying, you don't need a man. You can do this on your own. But you're making videos every day. You're going live 3, 4, 5 times a day. Yeah, you got this. Do this on your own. Right, right. But listen to me. Because they're trying to heat people to themselves. They don't have what it takes inside of them to build something themselves. So they like to go over here to this, over here, and see the weak over here. Come on over here. Then they go over here. Go get the weak over here. They come on, man. Find somebody that's in strife and beef over here. Come on over here. And they have nothing to give them but Deuteronomy 28 and a couple of maps. That's it. They ain't feeding the homeless. They ain't working with the widows. They can't even pray a prayer. They don't know what love is. They ain't doing nothing. But they have all the answers. They can tell you what's wrong with you and your ministry and your church, your doctrine. But for some reason or another, they can't see anything that's wrong with them. That's a problem. Be careful. You know, I know there's a popular saying, people saying, talking about some, chew up the meat, eat out the bones, but if the meat is poison, you don't need the meat either. You understand? All right. Let's go to Sirach 6. I'm good, fam. Let's go to Sirach 6, and let's look at verses 32 through 37. Watch this.
My son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught.
So if you're willing, you'll be taught. Go ahead.
And if thou wilt apply thy mind, thou shalt be prudent.
Mm-hmm.
If thou love to hear,
thou
shalt receive understanding.
Uh-huh.
And if thou bow thy ear,
if they do what?
Bow thy ear,
Mm-hmm.
thou shalt be wise.
You see that? But it takes that effort on you to put yourself in that position. You hear? Go ahead.
Stand in the multitude of the elders.
Do what?
Stand in the multitude of the elders.
Stand in the multitude of the elders. Go ahead.
And cleave unto him.
And do what?
And cleave unto him.
Nah, just go your own way.
Cleave unto him.
Nah, just sit to yourself.
Cleave unto him.
Nah, you don't have to worry about no elders.
Cleave unto him.
Cleave unto him.
That is wise.
That is wise. Every wise man been taught by a wise man. I'm surprised anytime when people say, you don't need a man. Then why are you reading the Bible? You do know that your Savior is a man, right? You understand? Watch this. Verse, what we at, Sue?
35.
Verse 35.
Be willing to hear every godly discourse.
Now, don't worry about any godly discourse.
Be willing to hear every godly discourse.
Uh-huh.
And let not the parables of understanding escape thee.
If you ain't never in the spot, they will escape you. See, this is one of the dangers of social media. I know it may sound crazy because we're coming to many of you through social media right now. But like I told Better Days on the Shabbat, listen, this whole thing was not created in order for you to just sit with your back comfortable on the couch. And this is why this is becoming a problem when we start telling people to come and gather and let's sit down and build and fellowship. You're sitting there in a good little onesie and some Crocs, you know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? You up there, got the little robe on, you're comfortable, and you know what I'm saying? Got a little tea, some of you might have got a little wine and vibing right now. Listen, that ain't the real world. You got to get out here and grind. You got to get in this thing together. Sit down and look at each other in the eye, because it's about to be real. You understand? We got to go to these neighborhoods. We got to be on these blocks. And it's a shame all of these years that most of me and Deacon Soup, we're the only ones there. Me and Jay went from how many cities we did that one weekend? It was like 4 or 5 cities. Me and him. Just me and him, 4 or 5 cities in one day. And we're not saying that to brag or boast, but I'm just saying that shouldn't be. That shouldn't be. Because we ain't like these other people. We don't go live when we on the block. We just out there on the block for the people on the block. We ain't doing it for no show of fashion. When it's out here in the streets, we out there for the people. We never tell you, you'll never know. Unless we're in the hood near you. You understand? But I shouldn't have to, you should be there with us. Watch this. Verse 36.
And if thou seest a man of understanding,
right,
get thee betimes unto him, and let thy foot wear the steps of his door.
Now, click on his videos.
And let thy foot wear the steps of his door.
Wear the steps of his door, man. Constantly be there. Like you used to do when you was going to get them Nick bags. You forgot about that, right? You didn't have to get coached to do that. When it was time to get the bags, you hit the door. Well, come get this truth, fam. You understand? Verse 37.
Let thy mind be upon the ordinance of the Lord,
right,
and meditate continually in his commandments.
Right.
He shall establish thy heart,
right,
and give thee wisdom at thy own desire.
At your own desire. However much you want, as much as you'll get. You don't want it? I'm of the reminder of Moses. When you see over in Exodus, when Moses walked by and he seen the bush burning on the fire, the burning bush. The Bible says that it, of course, that it was burning in the Bible, but the bush wasn't consumed. And when he walked by, the Most High didn't say nothing. Was not until Moses said in his heart, "Let me look back and see what this is." And when he made an effort to look back, that's when the Most High started speaking. Some of you want this stuff, but you ain't willing to put no effort up to get it. You understand? Come get it. And the Most High give you whatever you want. Huh? Now, for those who will, who have any questions, please submit those questions and we will answer them in the order in which they came. Next question. I want to first say that I appreciate you, Elder. Appreciate you too, Art. I have truly learned a lot from you, but I'm struggling with some things you have been bringing out lately. How are we supposed to be the light to the Gentiles in this country when they are constantly trying to exterminate us? I know we're not supposed to be angry, but it's not hard. It's hard not to be when every day this country gives us a reason to be. All right? Read that again. It says, I want to first say that I really appreciate you, Elder. I have truly learned a lot from you. All praise to the Most High. But I'm struggling with some things you have been bringing out lately. You ain't the only one, fam. How are you supposed to be light to the Gentiles? And how are we supposed to be light to the Gentiles in this country while they're constantly trying to exterminate us? They are, some of them. I know we are not supposed to be angry, but it's hard not to be when every day this country gives us a reason to be. Let me get Ephesians 4, and let me get Numbers 23. The water, Mama V. The water, Mama V. I'll tell you what. Shouts out to Mama V. All praise. That just messed me up right there. Well, some people that love me out here. It feels good to be loved, man. For real. They really do. But yo, listen. I understand, man, what our people are dealing with. This truth is really hard sometimes to deal with because To whom much is given, much is required. We're going to go through that in a minute. You see, ladies and gentlemen, and just a preview, just a spoiler alert, this Shabbat, for all of you that are with us, make sure you tune in for those who are with us and those who can't gather with us. This Shabbat lesson is called Sold into Slavery, Redeemed to Free the World. Most High gave me that last night. Sold into slavery to redeem the world. I know that sounds crazy. It's like almost like an oxymoron that we were sold into slavery, but we were going to be used to redeem the world. So, ladies and gentlemen, for most of us, coming into this truth, it just seemed to be just like a get back moment for all that we had to endure this country. You see, the onus of being righteous and further this gospel, we really never took upon ourselves. A lot of us, I'm talking about, when I'm saying we, I'm talking about Jacob, children of Israel, the so-called black man, the so-called African American man, the so-called Native Americans, so-called Hispanics, so-called Jamaicans and Haitians, and people of Bahamas, the people of West and South Africa, and all of our people, the 12 tribes that are scattered all over this world, that are trapped in Protestant Reformation and Catholicism. You see, we was always presented this gospel as if we were Gentiles. So for many of us, it was just coming into the party, getting in the dough. This is why you heard a lot of times in our churches, especially, not just during the time of the usher programs, but just quoted often, I'd rather be a doorkeeper in the house of the Lord than to dwell in the tents of the thieves. Because as black being how we were treated, being a doorkeeper was what we was accustomed to, serving. Now don't get it twisted, because Matthew 23 tells us that the greatest among you shall be a servant. So the servitude aspect of us should never leave. But the royalty of us and the standard and the light and the salt is something that we have not really took in. This is why we last Shabbat, the Most High gave us, yes, they lied to us, but it's time to embrace the truth. I hope you guys check that lesson out. So right now, one of the main struggles with Jacob, of them discovering who they are, is the Gentiles, predominantly the so-called white man. Everything that's happening in the country on a daily basis. Just last night, watching the news, unfortunately, and seeing a family, a woman, her daughter, her two nieces, made to lay on the pavement in the mall because the police said that their car matched the description of a stolen car. Little girl couldn't have been no more than about 7 years old. Her nieces and nephews couldn't have been no more than 14, 15. And they made them lay on the pavement, on the ground like that. Come to find out, the car that they was looking for was not only not a car, it was a motorcycle, but it was in for another state. Shalom, Pastor, good seeing you with us tonight. Now the justification was that the license plate on the car matched the license plate of the stolen car. Impossible. Okay. But let's just say if it did. Why would you make them get on the ground, face down, in the summer? Little kids. It's because of the way they see us. So when you see stuff like that, you see most of our people, they talk about George Floyd. Hey, that's what it is. And I don't want to be insensitive. What upsets me is Corona. The people that are killing in these hospitals. I haven't seen a Black Lives Matter rally for none of that. For the Democratic Party convincing our women to abort their kids. I haven't seen a Black Lives Matter rally for that. But that's another lesson for another time. Let me pull it back into what I'm saying. With the way we're being treated, the way we're being lied to in politicized, and used as pawns and talking points. Of course, the Israelite and the truth that will see these things, it makes it really, really difficult to say, I want to be light to you, I want to be salt to you. Give Deuteronomy 23:7 before we go to Ephesians 4. If you follow the law, then we must understand that your feelings and emotions can no longer play a factor. The law, the Holy Spirit, and what Hamashiach says is it. But tonight, we're going to give you more justification for why. But let's start with this. Deuteronomy 23:7.
Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite.
Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite. For those who don't know, the so-called white man, so-called European, is an Edomite. Now you're going to hear some people say they're Japheth. Madness. We're not even going to go back and forth with that. Pure madness. But the Bible, the law tells us to not hate them. Why?
For he is thy brother.
For he is thy brother. Therefore, when the law tells me that, my feelings goes out of the window. I don't have a choice but to follow that. This is not a Christian church where we can pick and choose what verses to follow here. Israelites know we don't have that luxury. You break it, you die. If we're going to say we're law keepers, we must be law keepers. What else?
Thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian.
We should not abhor an Egyptian. Why?
Because thou was a stranger in his land.
Even though the Egyptian enslaved us, we can't hate him because of what we took from them coming out. And for some of them, for many years, we were taken care of. In the same manner here in America, in the past, present, and especially in the future, because we're going to get to that in a minute. There's going to be a significant turnaround for what the Gentiles are going to do for us. And I ain't talking about walking up and down the street with a Black Lives Matter sign. No. And some of you, if you don't get past your anger, you're going to miss it. And it's going to be really, really bad for some of you. Okay? Now, let's go back to Ephesians 4. And Numbers 23. And give me verse 26 there in Ephesians 4.
Be ye angry and sin not.
But now, so the Bible tells us, not being angry, that's not the sin. It's your response to being angry where the problem comes in. Ecclesiastes 7:7 says, surely oppression make a wise man mad. A lot of our brothers and sisters right now that's in this world, that are in this world, I mean, they just going off this loud, going off of these pills, going off of fornication and homosexuality. Listen, these guys ain't thinking about nothing else but fulfilling the carnality of their flesh. But surely oppression will make a wise man mad. Anybody with any level of what you would call consciousness will see these things and look at the depthness of what they'll be doing, and these things will anger you. But he says what? What was the last part?
Be ye angry and sin not.
But at the same time, that is not justification to break the law. And what else is not justification to?
Let not the sun go down upon your wrath.
So ladies and gentlemen, what you need to do is some of you need to turn that news off and get off of social media. Get it out of the way. But if you feel like you have to watch it, whatever angers you and upsets you throughout that day, you need to let it go and move on. You need to pray and let that thing go before you go to sleep. Go ahead.
Neither give place to the devil.
Because some of you get mad at night and go to work the next day angry, looking for the beef. You're on social media angry, looking for the beef. Neither give place to the devil. So, what is the thing that I want you guys, the Most High wants you to be focused on? And this is what we're going to give you here. Numbers 23:19. Let's start this. Let's go. I need you to take your eyes off of the Gentiles, and I want you to put your eyes on these truths what we're about to give you. And I want you to parallel and compare to this. When Peter and the disciples was in the boat and Matthew the 14th chapter, the Bible says as long as Yeshua eyes was on, Peter's eyes was on Yeshua, he was walking on water. Something that seemed to be impossible. But as soon as his eyes looked around at the storm and the chaos that was around him, he began to sink. Well, in the same manner, ladies and gentlemen, with all of the madness and oppression and attacks that we got going on at our way here in this country, if you keep your eyes on Yeshua, who the word going to be Jesus, you will do the impossible and walk on water. But if you keep focusing on what they're saying and they're doing, you're going to sink into utter despair. It's going to cause you to do something that you will forever regret. We play the long game here. We ain't looking for short victories. It's the long game here. And why do we can do that with ease? Numbers 23:19.
God is not a man that he should lie.
He is not a man that he should lie.
Neither the son of man that he should repent.
Right.
Have he said, and shall he not do it?
Right.
Or have he spoken, and shall he not make it good?
So that's some things that this Bible has told us. It's coming our way. And because he is not a man that he should lie, that's what your focus needs to be on. I'm about to share a couple with you. Let's go to 2 Edges 6. I'm going to share a few with you tonight. When you see this madness every day, when you see what they're doing, this is what you need to be focused on. 2 Edges 6. Give him verse 9, that suit.
For Esau is the end of the world.
For Esau is the end of the world.
And Jacob is the beginning of it that follows.
What we got next, man? You remember standing on that basketball court? You seeing these scrubs out there playing? And you already know what you're going to do when you get on that court next. I got next. But imagine that when you get on the court, the game ain't ending anymore. Now the court's yours. Our kingdom ain't never going to come to an end. Hence, now, and forevermore. And he's promised us that. So have your fun. Do all you can do. Because ours is up next. Next, Revelation 13. This is another thing in which I take comfort in. So if I'm sitting at the crib and somebody sends me a video, which I would prefer you guys to stop sending it to me. But I know you want to share, let me put it up on. I don't care. I don't. I appreciate you guys sending it to me, but I don't care. I don't need to see it. It's not going to change anything what we're going to do here. We're going to keep marching. No matter what they're doing, what they're trying. Why? Revelation 13, verse 10, verse 9 and 10.
If any man have an ear, let him hear.
Here it is.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
How did we get to this country? We were not indentured servants. We didn't make a decision to come on the other side. That decision was made for us. Okay? So he says what?
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
Right.
He that killeth with the sword shall be killed with the sword.
What they've been doing? Right? So it's going to happen to them. And this is what?
Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
This is what our patience and the faith is. We're not worried. What else? Let's go to Isaiah 14. Since the Most High is not a man that he should lie. This is, no matter what I see on the news, this is what my focus will be on. Until he comes back. Isaiah 14, verse 1.
For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob.
He's gonna have mercy on who?
On Jacob.
On Edom.
On Jacob.
On the Americas.
On Jacob.
And
will yet choose Israel.
And now he's gonna choose America.
Choose Israel.
Rome.
Choose Israel.
England.
Choose Israel. And set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them.
Right.
And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
No, we're gonna cleave to the house of the strangers.
They shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
And what's gonna happen? Verse 2.
And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids.
Worries over here. Okay? The Most High say, I'm gonna always choose you. I'm gonna always have mercy on you. And he said, we're gonna possess the Gentiles for what?
Servants and handmaids.
For servants and handmaids. There ain't gonna be no voting. It ain't gonna be no across the board, all lives matter. That's done. Because all lives have never mattered, and you know it. Okay? Verse 3.
And they shall take them captives who captives they were.
We're going to be take captives who captives we were.
And shall rule over their oppressors.
And we shall do what?
Rule over their oppressors.
And we shall rule over our oppressors. Most High has promised this. That's my focus. But my focus is this. Therefore, my response to when I'm angry has to remind me of this. Go to Luke 12. So now, when it comes to the Gentiles, I must take this approach. When it comes to my walk with the Most High and Yeshua, I must take this approach and understand that what he said here, because he's not a man that he should lie, and his son don't lie, I better be worried about this, more so worried about what they're saying, right? Luke 12, verse 42.
And the Lord said, who then is that faithful and wise steward, whom his Lord shall make ruler over his household, to give them their portions of meat in due season?
So, if I want to be rewarded when he comes back, this is what I need to be doing. Verse 43.
Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing.
Doing the work. Not sharing videos on social media. Not arguing with Gentiles. But what? Verse 44.
Of a truth, I say unto you, that he will make him ruler over all that he has.
Do you want to be ruler? Now, that's the reward. This is for you who don't want to follow what he has said. Verse 45.
But and if that servant said,
but and if. Go ahead.
That servant say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming.
Man, he should have been back by now, man. How long we got to keep doing with this? Go ahead.
And shall begin to beat the men servants and maidens.
Beat the who?
Men servants and maidens.
Guess who that is? The Gentiles. That's why I took you to Isaiah 14 first. Because before he comes, ladies and gentlemen, many of these guys have begun to start assuming the role, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. And it ain't going to be by force. It's going to be by choice. But if you're standing out on a block telling a white man or a white woman to kiss your foot, if you're out there smacking them around, talking junk to them, I'm about to do this and I'm going to do this, look at what Yeshua said. Go ahead.
And to eat and to drink and to be drunken.
Now I'm out here just living corner and wilding and partying. What's going to happen to those guys?
The Lord of the servant will come in a day when he looketh not for him,
right?
At an hour when he is not aware, and will cut him in sunder.
Now he gonna do what?
And will cut him in sunder.
He's doing this to the Israelite, not the white man. Okay. He gonna do what?
He will cut him in sunder.
He will cut him in sunder.
And will appoint him his portion with the unbeliever.
You're gonna go to hell just as if like you never believed in him. That's in red. Is it worth it now? What else?
And that servant which knew his Lord's will.
And for you Israelites who knew what the Most High said, and for you Christians who knew that Christ died for your sins, but what?
and prepared not himself.
Said, listen, I ain't got to worry about this, man. All I got to do is wait on the rapture. All I got to do is wait on the Most High to send what they call it, the vessels, the UFO, the spaceships. He gonna come and get us. I ain't got to leave Babylon. I ain't got to do nothing. Go ahead.
And neither did according to his will, shall be beaten with many stripes.
He gonna be what?
Beaten with many stripes.
No grace. This is in red. This is what Yeshua is saying. Who the world know to be Jesus Christ? This is the Christ of the Bible. As I told him last week, the only way that he'll be running through a lily field, and if you out there hiding in the lily field, he's coming. That is the only way. There won't be no skipping through the lily field with flowers in your mouth, with some beautiful music. This is the Jesus Christ of the Bible. No grace. Read it again. He says what?
And that servant which knew his Lord's will and prepared not himself. Neither did according to his will.
Neither kept that law.
Shall be beaten with many
will be beating with many stripes. What else?
But he that knew not.
For those who stayed in the Christian church, never came back to Israel, never came to the Sabbath, never came back, so you didn't put yourself in a position to be taught. Go ahead.
It did not commit things worthy of Christ.
And you were still living pretty decent based on the religion, based on the way you knew. You were still doing all right. You was helping people. But what's going to happen?
Shall be beaten with few stripes.
You still will be beat. No G passes. Go ahead.
For unto whomsoever much is given, of him shall be much required.
Right.
And to whom men have committed much, of him they will ask the more.
So regardless if you want to accept the fact that you're an Israelite or not, you are an Israelite. So you can refuse it, you can deny it, you can do whatever you want to do. The choice is yours. Huh?
All right.
Now, let's go to the next question. Elder. Oh, no. I got to give you Isaiah 49. I got to give you that part. Isaiah 49. So for some of you right now who's spending all day on social media posting against Gentiles, you are cutting your waters off. I hope you got everything going for you. And many of you keep talking about, man, they're going to be slaves. You will never have one of them because you're not going to make it. But for us that are doing right by the Gentiles and loving the Gentiles and being like the Gentiles, this is what Yeshua promised for us. Isaiah 49, verse 22.
Thus said the Lord God, behold, I will lift up my hand to the Gentiles and will set up my standard to the people. And they shall bring thy sons in their arms, and thy daughters shall be carried upon their shoulders.
When the Gentiles realize, according to Jeremiah 16, verse 19, that they have inherited lies, you're not going to have to talk these guys into doing anything for you. It's going to be all their choice because many of them simply don't know. Y'all remember that day we was out there, all friends out standing out there, standing outside the road, and that lady pulled up. I'm with you. I'm with you. She doesn't even understand what that means. She thought it was some Black Lives Matter stuff. Nah, we wasn't up there protesting. We was coming out of the Shabbat. But she just saw a bunch of black guys standing on the corner. She was like, I'm with you. I'm with you. Nah. We'll see. Go ahead.
And kings shall be thy nursing fathers.
And kings shall be thy nursing fathers.
And their queens thy nursing mothers. They shall bow down to thee with their face towards the earth, and look up the dust of thy feet. And thou shalt know that I am the Lord, for they shall not be ashamed that wait for me.
This is the reason why you don't burn the bridges. Because once many of them wake up, This is how the resource, this is how the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the just. This is the Bible. The Bible. All right? Just wanted to put that out there. Now, we got 2 more questions for those who are with us. If you ask any question, I'm putting this out here now. If there anybody that's watching with us live that have a question, go ahead and submit it. If not, these are going to be the last 2 questions for the night. It says, Elder, I must admit that I feel very discouraged lately. I'm feeling very discouraged lately. I left Christianity many years ago due to all of the strife and division in the church. No matter what church I attended, I couldn't get answers. I couldn't get my questions answered. And I never felt as if our people were interested in standing together in Christ. I came into the understanding that we are the children of Israel about almost 2 years ago. I've been able to get most of my questions answered, but there's still so much strife and division. Israelites don't want to worship. Most are not humble. Is this who we are as a people, or have we not truly arrived yet? Good question. He said, Elder, I must admit that I'm feeling very discouraged lately. I left Christianity many years ago due to all the strife and division in the church. No matter what church I attended, I couldn't get my questions answered, and I never felt as if our people were interested in standing together in Christ. I came into the understanding that we are the children of Israel almost 2 years ago. I've been able to get most of my questions answered, but there's still so much strife and division. Fortunately, it is. Israelites don't want to worship. They don't. Madness. And most are not humble, unfortunately. And is this who we are as a people, or have we not truly arrived? We are as a people. Hold up. YouTube is tripping. So your connection is unstable. Okay, it came back. All right, YouTube. It said, unfortunately, that question was again, it says, is this who we are as a people, or have we not truly arrived yet? And the answer is, both answers is correct. This is all who we are, and we have not arrived yet. So let's go to Isaiah 48. Let's tackle that from this perspective. Let me try to give some type of resolve of what's going on with this and why this is happening. In the Christian church, matter of fact, let me get 1 Corinthians 14 right quick before we go to Isaiah 48. Get 1 Corinthians 14. And no, we're not going to that verse. Just want to put that out there. All right. That's part of the problem, you better believe. 1 Corinthians 14, let's look at verse 33.
For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints.
So this is one of the main issues. With Catholicism and the Protestant Reformation, which produces hundreds upon hundreds of denominations, so-called non-denominational churches. You could be in a 5-mile radius and have so many different churches with so many different approaches to one book, the Bible. So this is the problem. And within those churches, you have many people in there who are striving to live better for the Most High, to be submitted to Christ, who appreciate what Christ has done. But then you have people in there with agendas, people in there who are just trying to find treatment. It's not even treatment, but just what's the word I'm looking for? Something to maintain with. It's kind of like what you're seeing out here now, when you're talking about with Corona, talking about they're looking for a vaccine. And I always wonder, why they're not working about a treatment? Why would you want a vaccine? Why would you want treatment? Antidote. But that's another lesson for another time. But it's the same way when it comes to this church thing. The people are not really looking for answers. They're looking for an ability to do whatever it is that they want to do, continue to do these things, and get some type of, what's the word? I'm looking for a particular word. But anyway, basically what I'm saying is that they don't want to stop. They want to be able to just maintain where they are and not be overwhelmed and crazy. And that's what they use church for. It's gratification. That's what I'm looking for. Some form of gratification. So for a lot of people, it's to say, I went to church today. I went to, I sing in the choir. I'm an usher. I'm a pastor. It's all the different things. It's titles and sanitary and volunteerism and all these things that they're doing. And that's in the Christian church as well as Israel. So, it makes people feel gratified to say that they did something. This is the same reason why you see people doing these walks, these cancer walks, and domestic violence walks. People can live wicked and do all kind of stuff, but they go walk a couple of miles and buy a pink t-shirt, and they'll say, hey, listen, I'm giving the cancer. Or they put on a band and say, listen, I'm standing up for domestic violence. But, all these different things that people do to make themselves feel gratified, self-gratified, to feel better about themselves, the way they live. This is what our people as a whole, Israel, Jacob, and stiff-necked. So, but the Most High is not an author of confusion. He has a distinct plan. Torah, Spirit, Hamashiach. It all leads to him. So let's go through Isaiah 48 and let's just take a look at some things here. Isaiah 48. And let's start at verse 1. Watch how the Most High uses Isaiah to break the same down. Isaiah 48, verse 1.
Hear ye this, O house of Jacob, which are called by the name of Israel, and are come forth out of the waters of Judah, right? Which swear by the name of the Lord, and make mention of the God of Israel, but not in truth, nor in righteousness.
So it's not about righteousness. It's a state of trust. Christians for a long time, not as a whole, but for a lot of them, used their religion as a way to make them feel better against other people in the community. So, they was able to say, well, I used to do this, but I don't do it no more. And it's kind of like, if you think about it, when you just hear people talk about their testimonies, it's kind of nothing more nothing more different than a self-help group. You see people that's in Narcotics Anonymous, like they're like, hi, I'm John and I'm an alcoholic, and hi, my name is John and I'm an addict. So all of these different things, and so and they use the religion of Christianity to be that, like, I used to drink, or I used to be a drugs, I used to be this, I used to be that, and they identify that, and that's their totality of their testimony. And we thank the Most High that through their efforts, they was able to let certain things go. But when you pull back the layers on other areas in their life, it's messed up. And that's all of us in one way or another. But for a lot of people that's in the Christian church, there's no desire to address those other things, especially being righteous and holy according to the law. So just their belief in Christ and Jesus is what they can ever say. I do this, I go to church, this is who I am, I'm a Christian. This is why all the political leaders always put it out there that they're Christian. They're wicked, the way they live, but they say, I'm a Christian. Trump is telling people he's a Christian. The Christian evangelicals say, vote Trump, vote God. So you see what I'm saying? That it doesn't carry anything as a totality for those who actually walk with the Most High, but for the world, it means something. Well, unfortunately, it's the same thing with Israelites. People saying set apart. I'm set apart, but you look just like everybody else. The social media presence looks just like everybody else. You act and talk just like everybody else. You're shacking and fornicating, doing just like everybody else. You're doing domestic violence. You're doing some of it, even homosexuality, just like everybody else. Lying. You can't be trusted, just like everybody else. So you make mention of the name of the Most High. You make mention of the name of Israel. You talk about the God of Israel, but not in truth and in righteousness. It's like a badge of honor versus a lifestyle versus who you are. Watch this, verse 2.
For they call themselves of the holy city,
right,
and stayed themselves upon the God of Israel. The Lord of hosts is his name.
mm-hmm.
I have declared the former things from the beginning,
Right,
and they went forth out of my mouth,
right,
and I showed them, and I did them suddenly, and they came to pass.
right.
Because I knew that thou art
Obstinate.
and thy neck is an iron sinew, and thy brow brass.
It's strong, bro. You ain't got no desire to change. You hate change. Fight change. And you know if you fight the Most High, you definitely ain't listening to people. You don't want to do nothing. So the Most High said, listen, I'm going to say everything from the beginning. So they're going to leave you no room to say that I didn't tell you about what's going to happen to you. Watch this, verse 5.
And I have even from the beginning declared it to thee. Before it came to pass, I showed thee, lest thou shouldest say, my idol have done them,
Mm-hmm.
and my graven image
Mm-hmm.
and my Moses image have commanded them.
So, Most High said, listen, I'm telling you right now that everything Israel had, I gave. And I told you that I was going to give it before I gave it. So Israel during this time was dumb enough to think that these idols that they set up and was giving the glory to them. In the same manner, us being awakened right now, knowing who we are, getting back to the Sabbath, getting back to the law. Some Israelites have convinced themselves that they did it themselves. When the Most High told us in Hosea the 6th chapter that in 2 days he would awake us, and on the 3rd day he would revive us. He told us in Baruch the 2nd chapter that in the land of our captivity that we remember ourselves. He told us in Jeremiah 30, in the last days, you will consider this. But people still thinking that this is about them. You think it's your research game. You think it's your drive. You think it's your own level of intelligence. Right? Watch this. Verse 6.
Thou hast heard, see all this, and will not ye declare it?
Mm-hmm.
I have showed thee the new things from this time, even hidden things, and thou didst not know.
You don't even know it. I'm bringing these things to you. You don't even know it. Christians in the rest of the world wasn't not the only one that got caught off guard by what's happening this year. Many Israelites. Because they were sitting back fussing and arguing with people and not preparing. Watch this. Watch this. Verse 7.
They are created now, and not from the beginning,
right,
even before the day when thou heardest them not, lest thou shouldest say, behold, I knew them.
So listen, man, all this stuff, man, these idols and things you got, these things was never created from the beginning. And now you're giving glory to them? Most I said this Babylonian system and all this stuff that you giving credit to and saying your education did this and all that. Bro, listen, I've been told you how to get success. I've been told you how to be healed. I've been told you how to be protected. I've been told you how you don't have to worry about a plague. Before the mask. Just keep my law. I've been told you how to be safe. Long before the mask. But you say, hey, I ain't gotta worry about that law. But the mask is gonna keep me safe. See that? So listen, everything that you're doing now to compensate for these idols and everything that you're doing, I've already told you what to do. You refuse to do it. But you're giving glory to everything else instead of me. Right? Watch what he said, verse 8.
Yeah, and thou heardest not.
And you heard us not.
Yeah, thou knewest not.
And you knew us not.
Yeah, from the time that thy ear was not open.
Right.
For I knew that thou wouldest deal very treacherously, and was called a transgressor from the womb.
He said, listen, man, I already knew you wasn't going to listen. I knew you wasn't going to change. That's why I called you a transgressor from the womb. You were shaken to iniquity. But this is the good thing about the Most High. Hold your place there and go to Romans 5 and 8. He said, listen, man, I already knew you was going to deal trustfully. I know you wasn't going to pay no attention to me. I knew you wasn't going to listen. I knew you were going to put yourself and send yourself into captivity. Even when I told Moses, Deuteronomy 28, 1700 plus years before the birth of Christ, I knew you wasn't going to listen. Is what Most High telling us. Y'all hard-headed. Okay? Watch this. Romans 5 and 8.
But God commended his love towards us.
Right.
In that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us.
See? The Bible says that he slain the lamb before the foundation of the earth. Okay? He didn't wait for us to do it and then give us provision. He put the provision out there before we needed it. He knows his children. But yet, we still don't trust him. And that's sad. So the answer, brother, is it's both. We are stiff-necked and we have not arrived yet. That's really the problem. That's really what the issue is. You understand? Let's go back and read verse 9.
For my name's sake will I defer my anger,
right?
And for my praise will I refrain from thee, that I cut thee not off.
He said, listen, for my name's sake. Now, a precept for that is Exodus 32. Read that in your own time, verse 1 through 14. After the Most High came down in Exodus 20 and spent 6 days straight with the children of Israel. And on the 7th day, the Sabbath came in, him and Moses went to the mountain. And Moses was up there for 40 days, getting the law in the book of Jubilees. While he was gone for those 40 days, the children of Israel got impatient, built a calf. One day we're going to tell y'all what that name of that calf is. We haven't done it yet because it's gonna be rough when you hear it. And I know a lot of you ain't ready to hear it. And I love too many of you too much to give it to you now. We ain't ready. But one day we're gonna have to share with you guys the name of that calf. And I hope you receive it in your heart. And we got the books to prove it, what that calf name is. There's 2 calves that Moses, it's like that Aaron built when they came out of Egypt, and what Jeroboam built in Bethel when he came out of Egypt, and 2 Kings 12 chapter, what led them being cast out of the land as well. So we're not going to bring that out today, but it's gonna. I'm sorry, but what some of you been calling on. Sorry, but that's another lesson for another time. But also, give me Isaiah 1 and 19. Before you give me that, read that Isaiah 48 and 9 again.
For my name's sake will I defer my anger,
right?
And for my praise will I refrain for thee, that I cut thee not off.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let me show you this in Isaiah 1. If we understood truly what the Most High, listen, long before who the world know to be Jesus Christ died on the cross, grace was already with Israel. And I'm going to show you Isaiah 1 and 9. Watch this.
Except the Lord of hosts have left unto us a very small remnant.
Right.
We should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah.
We should have been like Sodom. We should have been done. So us not understanding and receiving that is the reason why we acting the way we act. The reason why Israelites don't want to worship. Why there's no devotion to the Most High, fully commitment to it. If only you knew what he did for you to come back. If you only knew what he's doing. If you only knew what he's looking past to give you this chance to get this truth. If my Christian brothers and sisters truly understood, you wouldn't be holding on to that paganism. You wouldn't be coming up with the excuses that you have to stay in this madness. Back to Isaiah 48. Read that 9 again, verse 9 again.
For my name's sake will I defer my anger,
right?
And for my praise will I refrain for thee,
right?
That I cut thee not off,
right?
Behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver.
Not with silver.
I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction.
And I have chosen you in the furnace of affliction. This is why when you go into Sirach 2, he said that he will know us by the will. Matter of fact, let's get there right quick. I'm misquoting this. Sirach 2 and 5, right?
somewhere right there.
In the furnace of adversity. It's in the furnace of adversity. So when I mess it up, I got to give it to him. Sirach 2
and 5.
Chapter and verse.
Sirach 2 and 5. For gold is tried in the fire.
Start the verse before that.
Sirach 2 and 4. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state.
Right now, some of you lost sources of income. But the Most High said, be patient when you brought to a lower state. Why?
For gold is tried in the fire.
Gold is tried in the fire.
And acceptable men
and women
in the furnace of adversity.
I go back to Isaiah 48:10. It says what?
Behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver.
Not with silver.
I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction.
So what he did was, when we put our own self in this furnace, the Most High didn't do it. He gave us the option. We chose the furnace. Now he's in there. Now we're in there. And he's going to choose us out of that furnace of adversity, of affliction. He's going to say, okay, who's going to rock with me and who's going to stay in it? It's our choice. Verse 10, verse 11.
For my own sake, even for my own sake,
right,
will I do it. For how should my name be polluted?
I'm not going to allow Jacob to continue to stand in madness and still say that you're serving Israel, that you're Israelites. That's why only a third is going to get into the land. That's why the majority of his children are not going to make it out of America. Because he said, if you want to stay in paganism, if you want to stay in strife, if you don't want to stay in wickedness, that's on you. But you're not going to walk, and you're not going to continue to call on the name of my son and put his name out of his bag. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, right now, well, that's not his son's name, but the world know his son as Jesus Christ. Do you know what the word Jesus Christ means to the majority of the world right now? You know how much death and mayhem and plunder has came by the name of Christians? When we go to our Native American brothers, we can't even bring that up. We got to go in another route, then bring the Bible, because they know what Christians did to their people. They don't want to hear it. Majority of our people that's in these communities, they don't want to hear it. So the name of the Most High, the Bible, who the one to be Jesus Christ, that name is polluted. People don't want to hear it. Because what this Bible say Christ is and what Christians look like and what Israel look like don't look like what's in this Bible. Standing out on the corner, cussing folks out and doing all that mess. That is not the love of Christ. Talking down to people, running game on people, taking advantage of women. That is not what you got woke up for. Watch this. Read that in verse 11 again.
For my own sake, even for my own sake will I do it. For how should my name be polluted?
Right.
And I will not give my glory unto another.
I'm not doing it because I'm not going to give my glory to no Gentiles. So that means with my own children, they're going to get right or get left. You understand? Verse 12.
Hearken unto me.
Hearken unto me.
O Jacob and Israel.
Right.
My call. I am he.
Ahijah is he. Go ahead.
I am the first.
Ahijah is the first.
I also am the last.
You see that? Now, one said he wants to talk about the name Ahijah. I know what he meant by that. Notice the chain. Right? Give him that. Let's go to Exodus 3. Now we know a lot of our brothers and sisters who follow the Paleo Hebrew, when they go into Exodus 3, you know, whatever. But for us who follow the ancient Phoenician Hebrew, this is what we see. Go to Exodus 3, verse 13.
And Moses said unto God,
right,
behold, when I come unto the children of Israel, right, and shall say unto them, the God of your fathers have sent me unto you, and they shall say to me, what is his name? What shall I say unto them?
So now, of course, I'm saying this right. I'm starting here for my Christian brothers and sisters because you have heard, and most of the time, you just say the word God. You just leave it at that. like it's God. But those who are in the know, who understand that there are many gods. That's why we go in Psalms 96. He said he's the God above all gods. This is why we call him the Most High God. Okay, because the angels are gods. Little g. They operate in this power. Little g. Soup. Little deuce. Okay. Right now. So when Moses went to the Most High, he said, "Listen, I just can't go back to my people and tell them that God told me to come to rescue you." What? Who? They're just like, yo, you go to like, yo, man, Shorty told me to tell you, yo, that she's feeling you, fam. It's like 50 girls over there. You're gonna say, which one? You just can't say Shorty feeling you. It's 50 girls over there. I need specifics. I need a name. Well, that's the same thing. Moses knew he couldn't just go back and say God, because the Canaanites had many gods, the Egyptians had many gods, the Assyrians, all these nations around them had many gods. So then, what is your name? Verse 14.
And God said unto Moses, I am that I am.
I am that I am. It's a higher, a sure, a higher. Put that in there for me, D. I am is a higher, a sure is I am, that, a sure, a higher. Now, when you go into it, look into it, you're going to see EA, a sure, EA. That's the Yiddish version, but we know there was no E's like that in the original. So when you look at it from the ancient Phoenician, it is a higher, a sure, a higher. I am that I am in English. Verse 15. You finish that out.
And God said unto Moses, I am that I am. And he said, Thus shall thou say unto the children of Israel, I am, have sent me unto you.
You tell them our highest sentiment. This is what else he said.
And God said, moreover unto Moses, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, the Lord God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, have sent me unto you.
Right.
This is my name forever.
This is my name, how long?
Forever.
How long?
Forever.
Uh-huh.
And this is my memorial unto all generations.
I am, that's what he said. All right. Great question. Now, last question for tonight. Could you explain the benefit of tithing under the new covenant? Could you explain the benefit of tithing under the new covenant? Now, let's get Genesis 14. I need you to hold that and get Hebrews 5. Could you explain tithing under the new covenant? Now, this person who asked this question is not saying this, okay? So, but I'm making a statement to all the rest of these guys. You hear people all the time doing posts and making wild statements about, well, tithing don't want nothing but fruits and vegetables, so take fruits and vegetables down there to your church. Our people, man, I just sometimes, man, just tell me you got to. Well, would not be playing. But yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, you have a lot of people coming at people tired of saying you don't have to tithe and all this stuff. Listen, don't listen to people who don't want to do no work, because they just want to sit back. Only thing they're doing is just sitting back and eating. They don't understand that these food, this word, this food, these things, there's something that goes into this. They ain't doing no works. They ain't never gonna do no works. So that's why they sit back from a distance talking about those who are actually doing the work. Okay. But we're not even dealing with that. I just wanted to put that out there. Now, for my Christian brothers and sisters, it's quite hilarious to me that you would teach in your religion that the law is done away with, yet go to the law to justify. Many of you would justify tithing and guilt your congregation into teaching to tithing with the law, right? That's right, you know what I'm saying? So That's always a funny in itself. So everybody got their own reasons, and then people want to talk about people taking advantage of other people. What do they got to do with it, man? There's a lot of people robbing and stealing, but you still go to stores, grocery stores, overcharging, but you still go. Whatever. People got all these justifications not to do what thus says the Most High. So then now people say, well, the tithe was for the Levites, and so the Levitical priesthood is over no more, so you ain't got a tithe. So everybody got justifications for not doing nothing because they're not doing nothing. Okay, that's why they say that. Now, better they know that we don't put this pressure on them. We put it out there. We talk on these things. Tuesday nights, we give them the opportunity to do that. Because now, ladies and gentlemen, tithing is no longer a commandment. It is an opportunity. I'm going to say that again. Tithing is no longer a commandment. It is an opportunity. Okay? Now, the way I like to explain it to the people is similar to the stock market. Okay? Let's just use Apple per se. None of you own Apple. You may have an iPhone, but you don't own Apple. You wasn't there in the building process of Apple. You didn't put no money in on it. You didn't come up with no ideas. You didn't do no work. You know what I'm saying? You wasn't there in the gym. Okay? You wasn't with me in the gym. Okay? Whoever Steve Jacobs, what his name? Steve Jobs. You wasn't with Steve Jobs in the gym. Okay? You wasn't there with him. But you have the opportunity to buy stocks in Apple and invest in the company. So the more the company expands and be successful, you earn cash. You're investing in their growth. But you wasn't there with their shooting. You wasn't there with them shooting in the gym. Okay? In the same manner, the Most High is the one who created heaven and earth. As he told Job, you wasn't there with me. Okay. Where were you with what he told Job? You wasn't there. You wasn't with the Most High shooting in the gym. Okay? When he built the heavens and earth. You wasn't there when he chose the children of Israel. You wasn't there when he slain his son. You wasn't there for any of that. You had no input on it at all. But when you sow your tithes into the kingdom, you're sowing in the family business. If it's your father and Israel is your family, by tithing, you're sowing into the family business. And you have an opportunity to further the gospel going forth and to see your brothers and sisters around this world and your community be saved. And at the same time, when you do this, the Most High blesses you. So it's no longer a commandment. It's an opportunity. If you don't want it, don't. If you don't care about people getting prosperous and get saved, don't. If none of these things matter to you, don't tithe. Like I said, I'm not saying this to the brother that asked the question. I'm saying it to all the rest of you. If you don't care about lives being saved, if you don't care about the kingdom going before, then don't tithe. It's your choice. Now, let's go to Genesis 14, and let me show you what the real tithing is about now. Let's go to Genesis 14. I need you to hold back and get Hebrews 5. Tithing according to the new covenant. Genesis 14, hold that and get Hebrews 5. Genesis 14, and let's start there at verse 11.
And they took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah and all the victuals and went their way.
So these kings began to rebel against the king that had been in captivity. And went and ran up in Sodom and Gomorrah and other lands, and took all the people, took all the art, golds, and everything they had. As well.
And they took Lot, Abram, brother's son, and who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed.
So Lot, because he was there, he got snatched up. Took his goods and departed. Go ahead.
And there came one that had escaped and told Abram the Hebrew.
Told Abram who?
The Hebrew.
The Jewish man.
The Hebrew.
Okay.
For he dwelt in the plain of Mamre, the Amorite, brother of Eshcol and brother of Aner, and these were confederate with Abram.
That's the man hemmed up. They hemmed the man's up, right? So this is what happened. Verse 14.
And when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants, born in his own house. 318 pursued them unto Dan, and he divided himself against them, he and his servants, by night, and smote them and pursued them unto Abal, and which is on the left hand of Damascus, and he brought back all the goods, and also brought again his brother Lot, and his goods, and the woman also, and the people.
A couple of guys, and went and defeated a mighty army with a couple of guys. That's what happens when the Most High behind you, right? And he knew that. He knew it wasn't his power. He knew it wasn't because they were trained. They was real like that. He knew the Most High was with them. Watch this, verse 17.
And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of the Chedorlaomer and the kings that were with him, and the valley of Shaveh, which is the Kingsdale, and Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High God.
Now, the statement I'm about to make here is very controversial. In Christianity, they teach that Melchizedek was Jesus Christ. No. This was Shem. You find that out in Joshua. Shem is still alive now. He was the priest, Salem. Now, what they use what you see in Hebrews 5, what I'm about to show you in Hebrews 5, and they use that to teach, saying that Jesus Christ incarnate was Melchizedek. No. So you have to understand that Noah was with the Most High. He had a Noahic law. Okay. Then Shem was the only one of the three sons that stayed with the Most High. So all of the things that was taught on down was by Shem. Shem taught Abram, Shem taught Isaac, and guess what? Shem taught Jacob. I can prove it with the book of Joshua. Jacob went and lived with Noah, with Shem about 14 years and learned the law, learned the way of the Most High. He was the priest. This is Shem right here. Okay? So read that again. It says what? And Melchizedek, the king of Salem, go ahead.
Brought forth bread and wine.
Now, you know what bread and wine is. You know where that comes from. Right? That's communion. Right? Go ahead.
And he was the priest of the Most High God.
He was the who?
The priest of the Most High God.
So right there, you see. Now, there's no law here. This is Genesis. Okay. But they're calling him the priest of the Most High God. Because he learned it from his son, his father Noah. Go ahead.
And he blessed him and said, "Blessed be Abram of the Most High God, possessor of the heavens and earth."
Right.
And he blessed, and blessed be the Most High God, which have delivered thy enemies.
He said, who delivered?
Which have delivered thy enemies into thy hand, and he gave them tithes of all.
So then Abraham gave tithes. I love and appreciation for what the Most High had done. No commandment, no forcing, no law, love and appreciation. See that? Now, I could bring out some more than that, but for sake of time, let's go now to Hebrews 5. And watch this. We're talking about the benefits of tithing under the new covenant. Well, you must know why you're tithing under the new covenant in order to receive the benefits. I'm going to show you that in a minute. Hebrews 5, and start there, verse 1.
For every high priest taken from among men is ordained for men in things pertaining to God, that he may offer both gift and sacrifice for sins. Who can have compassion on the ignorant and on them that are out of the way, for that he himself also is compassed with infirmities.
See, he got sin. See, that priest, the regular priest before Christ, he sinned too. So he had compassion on another man who sinned because he was a sinner too. He needed his sins forgiven too. Watch this, verse 3.
And by reason hereof he ought, as for the people, so also for himself.
And also for himself
to offer for sins.
Right?
And no man taketh this honor unto himself.
No man can just come and say, I'm going to be a priest. No man can just decide today I'm going to be a priest,
but he that is called of God.
He that is called of God.
As was Aaron.
As was Aaron. So you had to be a Levite. You just couldn't say, you know what? I'm a Levite now. I'm a priest now. No, that's not how it goes. Watch this. Go ahead.
So also Christ glorified not himself to be made a high priest.
He didn't just get up one day and say, I'm going to be a high priest. Go ahead.
But he that said unto him, thou art my son, today have I begotten thee.
So the Most High chose him as well. Go ahead.
As he said also in another place, thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek.
After the what?
The order of Melchizedek.
He said, listen, I chose you specifically. You're a priest, not out of Aaron, but out of order of Melchizedek. Which means here that the tithing which was done to Aaron was a law. The tithing that went to Melchizedek, that was love. You see that? It is the appreciation. It is the honor for what the Most High has done. That's why the tithe was given to Melchizedek, which means this is the reason why you tithe now. Watch this. Go ahead.
Who in the day of his flesh, when he had offered up prayers and supplication with strong crying and tears unto him, that was able to save him from death, and was heard in that he feared.
Mm-hmm.
Though he were a son, yet learned he obedience by the things which he suffered.
So he learned his obedience by going to the Most High and doing what he said, because he always said, I only say what my Father say, I only do what my Father tell me to do. Then he suffered unto death, and the Most High rose him from there. So that's how he was obedient, because he knew the Father would do what he was saying. Watch this, verse 9.
And being made perfect, he became the author of eternal salvation unto all them that obey him.
Y'all see that? Watch this, verse 10.
Called of God, a high priest,
and a high priest
after the order of Melchizedek.
After the order of Melchizedek. So now, ladies and gentlemen, your tithing is no longer a commandment, it's an opportunity. How did things go for Abram going forth after he did that? So, if you don't want the blessing of the Most High, don't tithe. If you don't want to see the work go forward, don't tithe. If you don't care about the covering and the blessing of the Most High, don't tithe. Stay with your fruits and vegetables, do your jokes and your memes, and don't get this blessing. You see that? Now, let's end it off on 2 Corinthians 9. Watch this. He ain't gonna force you to do nothing. You don't want to do it? Don't. Don't do it. 2 Corinthians 9. Now, this whole chapter, you need to go back and read 8 and 9, all this, because all this goes along, because Paul was getting on the church of Corinth because they wasn't sowing, they wasn't giving. And Paul was like, man, I got to rob other churches to do the work because you ain't giving. And me and Deke knows how that feels. We had to depend on people that wasn't even around here to do the work in our own community, because the people in our own community would not help us. I know what Paul feels like. He said, I have to rob the other churches to do work here in Corinth. So go back in your own time, look at 7, 8, and 9, and 10 to bring it all together, because Paul had to correct them on this not giving and tithing. But look at what he said here, 2 Corinthians 9, look at verse 6.
But this I say, he would sow sparingly, shall reap also sparingly.
So if you give every now and then, you will reap every now and then. Go ahead.
And he would sow it bountifully, shall reap also bountifully. Every man according as he purposely in his heart.
Every man according to his heart. There is a purpose in his heart. Go ahead.
So let him give.
Let him give.
Not grudgingly.
Not grudgingly.
Or of a necessity.
Or of a necessity. So I don't need to go into Malachi 3 and say you're going to be cursed with a curse if you don't give. I don't need to go and tell the people, listen, if you don't get this time, your car going to break down, your washing machine going to start working, you're gonna get sick, you're going to get laid off, you're going to have to come up with the money some kind of way. No! Because if you're giving for that reason, you're never going to get it. I used to be in the churches and see them when it came down for tithing. You'll see people riding up there, draw their head, everybody, man, God, man. Every time I tell the people to give, you start seeing, oh, man. It's because you don't understand. This is an opportunity. The Most High going to be good whether rapping or clapping. He don't need to change. This is opportunity for you. You don't want it, don't do it. Read that again. He says, what?
Every man according as he purposes in his heart.
As you purpose in your own heart.
So let him give.
Let him give.
Not grudgingly.
Not because, man, if I don't give, some people going to talk about me, man. They're going to do this and the Lord going to give me. Not that. Go ahead.
Or of a necessity.
Not because if I don't give, the Lord going to take something from me. Go ahead.
For God loveth a cheerful giver.
He loves a cheerful giver. Someone who wants to do it for him. Go ahead.
And God is able to make all grace abound toward you,
right?
That ye also having all sufficiency in all things may abound to every good work.
Mm-hmm.
As it is written, he have dispersed abroad. He have given to the poor, his righteousness remaining forever.
Read that again.
As it is written, he has dispersed abroad.
He had to disperse abroad.
He have given to the poor.
Have given to the poor.
His righteousness remaining forever.
His righteousness will remain forever. Opportunity. Right? Now, precept. Give me Proverbs 11 and 24 on that. Watch this.
There is that scatter and yet increasing.
So there's some that scattered their money and then increase it. Go ahead.
And there is that withholdeth more than is meet.
There's some that are just hold on to this money and won't do nothing. Go ahead.
But it tendeth to poverty.
And it leads to poverty. See that? So there's some people that's going around, they're giving every chance they get, and they increase. But there's some of you that's in there like, I ain't giving nothing. I hold on to everything I get. And what does it lead to?
Poverty.
Poverty. You see that? So once again, tithing is no longer a commandment. It's an opportunity. You don't want it. Don't. But if you do, bring it in to the Most High. God?
He came back and said, what was the name of the Hebrew you spoke concerning the name of High?
He said,
talking about Moses.
He said what?
He said, what was the name of the Hebrew you spoke of concerning the name of High?
The ancient Phoenician Hebrew. The ancient Phoenician Hebrew. You can look that up, research it, and you can find the letters on that. Higher. Okay? And we got a lesson that we can send to you on that to help you out with that. To bring his name out. Just hit me up. We taught that several years ago. All right. So if that be all, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna end it off for tonight. I want to just try it. See short. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to give all praise. We'd like to give all glory We'd like to give all honor to a higher, Baha Sirius Shire, Persian Warrock. May the Most High continue to smile down upon you, gracious. You're doing a great work. I appreciate you. We just want each and every one of you to know that we love you. We want you to know that we appreciate you. We want each and every one to know that what you're doing for the Most High will never go unnoticed, that He's always watching, and that He always cares, and He will always, always, always acknowledge what you're doing. So as we always say, ladies and gentlemen, continue to be steadfast, unmovable, always bound into the work of the Most High height. We want you to know that we love you. We're always here for you. And if there's anything that we can do, never ever hesitate to hit us up.
What shall I say unto them? And the Most High said, the Most I am that I am.
We'll be back next Tuesday, y'all.
Exodus 3:14 said that I am that I am. I is my God, I put no one above Him. No matter what they say, no matter what they do, Yeshua is my Savior, the King of the Jews. That's the truth. I is His name, look it up, that's the truth. We ain't going back and forth, let you do what you do. I is His name, going hard for the truth. Why you calling on higher? I call on higher because He's famous. Why you calling on higher? Because He let me do the truth. What the shit you got to me? Why you calling on higher? Because He gave me righteous judgment for you. That's the name of Allah.
I want you to put that on here. I know other gods before now. Read the Exodus is high before the back.
That's what he said.
I am, that's what he meant.
We all don't want to call birds
As we always say, ladies and gentlemen, continue to be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding to the work of the Most High. We love each and every one of you. Barakatah. Shalom. Sing it to us, sleep. Why we call on a higher?
Why you call on a higher? Why you call on a higher? Yeah.
Shalom. Chip.